20 years ago, they managed a Hollywood video store where they talked movies, music, TV, and pop culture 24/7. Now, in the vein of great reunions like Color Me Bad, Caddyshack 2, and the Two Coreys, they re-emerge to talk the culture of pop. Here are your hosts, Brett, Fred, and James.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Culture of Pop. I'm joined. I never know when he's going to do that. I'm joined by Jim and Fred again, as usual, and we are here today to talk about Quentin Tarantino.
Do you guys wear the same shirts every
Yes,
week?
we do. We
Am I the
love
only
them.
one that takes baths?
I learned it from
the only
Seth
one who
Brundle.
takes baths.
Man, it smells like foot and ass in here.
I learned it from Seth Brundle before he turned into a fly.
Oh my goodness. Anywho, we are
fucking
going
fly
to
reference.
talk about Quentin Tarantino today and all of his great, wonderful movies. So, Fred, what are you doing right now? Because
I'm letting my wife know that it's probably going to be 9 rather than.
what's going on up here,
8:45.
though? Did we pause it or what?
It is paused.
I mean, we're cool. If you're listening on the podcast, we're just trying out a new system with the thing here, and
I can hit play anytime you want me to.
just go ahead and hit play because we're talking about it. We're not going to have any sound. What we're talking about. This is a trailer for the new Once Upon a Time in Once Upon a Time in America. Once Upon a
Mexico.
Time in Hollywood.
Mexico.
The new Quentin
It
Tarantino
came
movie,
to mind. It came to mind.
which I haven't seen yet, but I am looking forward to it. And I know I shut all that off again, and yep, there it is. So, where do we want to start, gentlemen, with the Quentin Tarantino thing?
Well, first of all, I want to start with you telling us that we needed to put our 8 favorite Tarantino movies in the preferential order when there's actually 9 Tarantino movies.
So I had to
I
eliminate
meant 9.
I had to eliminate one. Death Proof.
Yes.
Why would you eliminate Death Proof?
All right, here's the deal.
Oh my God.
Here's the deal.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. So he doesn't know why he would eliminate Death Proof, but I don't know.
I mean,
So
it was a disturbing movie, but isn't that par for the course with Tarantino?
yeah, it is. Do we want to start with that? Do we? I mean, I'll tell you mine, and we can go to a discussion over that, and then versus what you guys got or
So
what
I
you
need
thought.
So I need to put my Tarantino movies in order,
Oh my goodness!
right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't do that.
No,
Yeah, I
you don't
didn't do that
have
either.
to,
Do you
but
have a
I mean,
piece of paper?
I deliberately didn't do that. I've thought about this all day long.
Are we doing
and
video on this one?
I came
Yeah,
to the
okay.
conclusion that I have a favorite and I have a least favorite, but all the rest just kind of float in the middle.
You don't have to tear out your nerd journal.
it's my Harry Potter journal.
Oh, of course it is, Brad.
Harry Potter.
Oh my God, it is.
I got it free.
Fucking nerd.
Dude, it was from Hot Topic when I used to work there. That's how old it is.
All right. So
I don't want Fred looking at my list because he'll cheat. Fred will cheat.
I'm not cheating.
By the way, this episode of the the Culture of Pop podcast is sponsored by Red Apple Cigarettes.
oh man, I thought we actually had a sponsor, dude. You had me going there for a second.
Right?
Actually had a sponsor. I forgot Timothy Oliphant was in this movie. I love Timothy Oliphant.
This whole movie was amazing. I love this film.
Yeah, it looks good. I'm quite sorry I haven't seen it yet.
I'm not going to spoil anything from you. I'm just going to say what I've been saying to everybody. It's unlike any Tarantino movie I've ever seen.
That's what Jim said too when he saw
And
it.
not only that, it plays with the fact that you've seen all of his movies.
Yeah.
And it takes a couple of left turns away from his usual way of doing things. There's a couple of moments when you're like, this is a Tarantino movie. This motherfucker's about to get fucked up. And he doesn't. And you're like, oh, wow. Left turn.
Yeah.
It's the most commercially accessible one.
It does that well.
How much does, just out of my curiosity, how much does Manson, because I remember when the movie was first announced,
5 seconds.
is that like that? He doesn't amount to much?
It's not a cameo. If it would have been a more famous actor, you would have been like, oh, that was his cameo.
So it's kind of like what you said. It's kind of like Summer of Sam, where it just kind of takes place in
Exactly.
that time period of when that was happening and all that kind of shit. Okay.
Yes, very much so.
We're going to spoil this movie for you.
Say what you want to say. I mean, I already know the ending, so
Oh, you know the ending.
I know the ending. I know that they
well
go
then.
into the wrong place. Sorry if I spoiled. Sorry, spoilers. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, go see the
Right.
movie.
Yeah, sorry.
Quit being a
Yes.
pussy.
Yes, go see the movie, yes.
I'm talking to the people out there and you, by the way.
Don't go to Regal. Go
Yeah.
to AMC because AMC was the best theater I've ever been to.
The one in Finley?
Yes.
Yeah, that is a nice
Lots of
theater. I
legs
love
to
it.
You need to get out more because that
I really
sucks.
do. I really do.
For us here in
Sucks.
little, excuse me, I'm drinking. For us in Little Lima, it's a nice upgrade. God,
Wow.
maybe I'll get rid of these hiccups. It's a nice upgrade.
All right.
There
If
it is.
There
I,
we go.
There it is.
this is
That was a
like
release.
trying to figure out which one of my kids I love.
Oh my God,
This is
really?
why I couldn't do this.
I
today.
actually could tell you which the order of my kids are my favorite. In fact, guys, if you're
In
listening,
fact, let's do that right now.
I'm going to make that public.
so Jaden, I got bad news.
Should we laminate this list so that it can never be changed?
You'll find out at Christmas, but you might as well let it slip. No, Jaden, I love you. I'm just kidding. I can't pick favorites of my kids. Obviously, Shay is, but I can't pick out what Tarantino I like the least. Are you kidding me? Maybe.
Do you want me to do mine, and then I'll give you an
Yes.
idea, and
Yeah.
then you guys can either
Yes.
argue over
And
them
I
or
will-
whatever?
Yes, I'll tell you how wrong you are.
Okay.
Rather than me trying to do this.
You want me to start number one or the least?
No, the least. You always
Least?
count down.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Casey
Okay.
Kasem, man. Come on.
Okay. Well, my least is, like I said, I can't put Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in this. My least is Kill Bill Volume 2 is number 9 on my list for me. Kill Bill Volume 1, number 8.
Wow.
I was not a huge fan of those movies. I
Okay.
did like them. I did appreciate what they were, but I was never into those.
I remember reading
know-
the screenplay for those before they even came out. It
I
was
do
something
too.
That leaked on, I think,
Yep,
JoBlo.com
yep.
or something, and I just downloaded the screenplay from there. It was like when I watched The Phantom Menace, 'cause I did the same thing with that, except with
Mm-hmm.
The Phantom Menace, the screenplay was commercially available in, like, Walden
Yeah,
Books. You know?
yeah.
You could go buy the fucking thing. This was a leak. You had to get a hold of this on the internet. And it didn't ruin the movie for me.
Didn't?
No, it actually made me look forward to the movie more.
Maybe that's what I should have done. I could remember going to see the first one at the theater. I loved it. The second one I saw on video. I couldn't go to the theater or whatever. And I liked it, but I thought the first half was way better than the second.
Were you banned?
Am I banned?
Were you banned from the theater? You
No, no.
Speaking of, totally off subject, and I'm sorry for everybody who wants to hear
That's all
Brett's list, but I was at the Hancock County Fair 2 nights ago, and then I was there again today, and I was banned from the skee ball plant. I was banned for being too good a player. Yes, Chuck, I was banned for being too good a player. I scored a perfect score. No, I'm sorry. I scored perfect score was 300. I scored a 290 and got a giant Slimer thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
Nice.
the tweaker comes over and
the
says,
tweaker.
and starts rubbing her eyes like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "What? What did she?" Goes, I've never seen anybody win an extra large one. And I was like, "Well, don't hurt yourself going up and getting that fucking Ghostbusters one." And so it takes her about 20 minutes to get up there. By the time she got back down, I'd won 2 more.
Oh, my God.
She barred me.
Barred me from being too good a player.
She barred me for being too good of a player. And I said, "Are you serious?" She goes, "Yeah, I can't give away."
I got to bar you.
And Kim said she's just sick of going up and getting those things.
She probably was.
So I went back there today,
Yeah.
and I'm like, rolling them up. Scored a 290 again.
Yeah.
The same tweaker comes over and says, "My boss is right behind us. He says that you can't bank them in."
Oh, my. Are you kidding?
It went in, didn't it?
I said,
as far
I
as
scored-
I'm concerned, you can throw that thing like it's a fucking fastball.
I was sitting there at 250, and all I had to get was one more 50, and I got a 40, 290.
Yeah.
And I was like, I actually said, I'm not leaving there. I'm not leaving this fucking fair without getting one of those giant SpongeBob's. I am not leaving. Me and somebody are going to fight. They're either going to let me bank that shit in. All right, sorry.
No, go ahead. That's good.
Rant over. You
Oh,
said you
my
got banned.
God.
I said something get barred from the theater. You said, and I got banned. I got barred.
We are
I
very
got barred for
obviously
being too
not
good a player.
sponsored by the
Chuck.
Hancock County Fair.
Oh, I did not get banned by the theater.
Okay, sorry.
So that takes care of those. Let me see. Number 7 for me is Jackie Brown. People are probably pretty surprised that I put that before Kill Bill, but I really liked Pam Grier's performance. I thought it was really cool, and I thought it was really cool to bring her back for that. Let's see. 6 would be The Hateful Eight.
I would put that way higher.
Well, my problem with that is The Hateful Eight and Django Unchained, which are both kind of westerns.
They're kind of the same movie, aren't
Yeah, I mean, sort of similar, and I prefer Django before that.
Django before what?
Hateful Eight, but that's Django's pretty top on my list actually. Number 5 would be Reservoir Dogs. Today, I'm not as big a fan of that movie as I used to be. I do like it. I appreciate it for what it was. What did I say? That was 5. 4 is Death Proof, which is actually one of my favorites. I don't know if it's so much more for Kurt Russell being in it or if it's just the structure of it and the movie. I liked it better than the other one that was involved with that one, Planet of Terror.
Planet Terror, that was Rodriguez,
Yeah, and I liked that one for what it was, but it was just a
both.
zombie movie, which I mean we've seen 1,000 times, so that's
Yeah,
the
but
problem.
we haven't seen Robert Rodriguez.
No,
do it.
you're right. I'm not saying it's not good. It is. But Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof is probably one of my favorites.
His was something else too. I mean,
Yeah. And then after Death Proof, it'd be Django Unchained, and then of course Pulp Fiction, and number 1 is Inglourious Bastards for me. The moment I saw that movie in the theater, the feeling that I got when what's his name? The very beginning scene. I can't think of his damn name now. Christoph Waltz. The very beginning scene with Christoph Waltz is one of my favorite scenes in movies of all time.
I haven't actually seen Inglourious Bastards.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you.
Can I see
And you're
your,
yelling at me?
Can I see your list because I wrote something down and I don't know what it is. I was abbreviating movies. Now I don't know what the hell this
on.
abbreviation is.
There. I can't believe you haven't seen Inglourious Bastards.
I haven't seen Inglourious.
And I'm getting yelled at for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. No, there's a scene you got to see. I mean, you got to see it anyway. But the scene in Inglourious Bastards, the first probably 15 minutes is amazing. Just Christoph Waltz's acting is amazing. It's just terrifying, but quiet and calm at the same time. But you just know that underneath this guy's skin is a fucking monster, and he's so just calm about it, and just you got to see it. You have.
I'm going to watch this before the next time we see each other again.
Okay,
Because
you have to watch
it-
Inglourious Bastards.
slipped under my radar. Honestly, I didn't realize that was even a Tarantino film.
Oh God, yeah, and it's one of the best. I mean, I think personally,
take a look. That
it's
might
my
change
favorite.
my
But
whole
I mean,
idea.
it's my favorite. But I
Fucking
mean,
throw something at you. You didn't know that was a Tarantino movie.
Again, it slipped under my radar. I was too busy making 30-inch fucking pizza.
oh jeez, you and your pizza time.
A Tarantino one does
was a
not let a
huge time.
Tarantino movie slip under the radar.
Fred did obviously.
I feel like I should be giving my nerd card back. Honestly,
What did that? That was right before Django.
revoke my membership.
It was
I
right. Did you've seen Django on Hateful Eight,
many
right?
times.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I still haven't seen the extended cut of Hateful Eight.
I do want to see that, and I want to
You're
see
not
the.
missing anything. It's
That's what he keeps saying. And that's the reason why I haven't watched
Yeah,
it.
because it's a lot more. It's just
It's a
like more
long enough
talking and
movie
shit. Or
anyways.
yeah, it is.
It's
It
like
is.
3.5 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Yeah.
I know I wouldn't have lasted in the theater, and that's why I'm afraid I won't last in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I wouldn't last in the theater. I lasted through Return of the King at the midnight show. I had to work the next day, so I can last in the theater. that's like an endurance.
That's a
trial
4-hour adventure, isn't it?
right there. A little bit. It's pretty close, actually.
No, oh jeez. Anyway, all right. So what do you got, Jim? What are you doing? What do you got going on over there?
I fucked my list up.
Oh jeez, he fucked his list up.
I forgot about Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, so you forgot too?
No, it's because you had 9, but you didn't have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So you
Oh,
had
okay,
9,
okay.
But we're counting Kill Bills as each individual, so technically
Yeah.
it's 10
10.
movies.
Yeah.
Kill Bill 1, only because I had to put something at number 10.
Okay.
You know, it's again, it's like picking your favorite kid, your least favorite kid, Jaden. And I just, I'm just kidding, Jaden. I love you, Pumpkin. Please don't have daddy issues and end up on a stripper pole. Anyway,
Too late. Go ahead.
guys are killing me. Kill Bill 1, just because you have to put something. Now, that movie was
Yeah.
all style.
Yeah.
Nope. Look,
Right.
this plot to Kill Bill 1 is, I got a list of people that I'm gonna go kill. I'm gonna go kill them. Mm-hmm. That's the plot.
Yeah,
Both
it
of
is.
them.
Yeah.
That's the plot.
They don't dig into anything specific until the second part.
Yeah, you will not find deeper plot points in this movie. Motivations.
Now I
And-
will say that now you do know that the Fox Force 5
Yeah.
Yes.
is portrayed in that movie.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
Okay, I mean, kind of portrayed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It doesn't leave,
Which is kinda cool,
Assassination
but-
Squad, right?
Yeah.
All style. There's no big,
Revelations
Tarantino monologues that big soliloquies. There's nothing. It's just her whipping ass,
Yeah.
killing a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's cool. And it was all style, and it was done really well.
Yeah.
Killed 100 people in that movie.
Right.
Right?
I'm like,
in Kill Bill
I'm
2,
sorry, I'm like a 12-year-old. Go ahead.
in Kill Bill 2, she killed exactly one person, Bill.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so those two totally different movies, but if I have to, I don't know what my, no, Jackie Brown is number 9. Again, I had to start somewhere. I had to do something. He with the flashbacks and the broken narrative, I think he was trying too hard a little bit with that. Still, it's a Tarantino movie. It's that one has a lot of plot.
Yeah.
That one you have to maybe even Red Rum Punch to
Yeah.
really follow everything. in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's one that not everybody can get into.
And I think
That
that's
very
probably
reason.
because, like he said, it's an Elmore Leonard thing, and
Yes.
I mean, that's a different style of Tory storytelling than most things.
And they had a mini little cinematic universe with
Yeah.
Michael Keaton playing the FBI agent, also in Out of Sight.
Yep.
All right.
So
Yep.
that was kind of cool. I did like that.
I
But-
forgot all about Michael Keaton being in that. Yep.
And Jackie Brown is, again, I had to start somewhere. If you give me all these movies, I would watch that 9th. So Death Proof, and this is the only Death Proof I've seen one time.
Really?
And I saw it in the theater, and I was just done with being in that fucking seat for 4 hours. Maybe
so
that
you
had a
saw
lot
it
to
as
That
part
probably
of
had
the,
something to do with it.
I
You're
saw
right.
it as a part
I
of the
wish
thing.
I could have, but it didn't come here like that. So
I was in Phoenix at the time, and I went, and it only had 3 showings per
Yeah.
day because
So-
it only got one screen, and it's not going to play. It's a 4-hour marathon. So and it had an intermission, so I could go take a leak, and the trailers were cool, especially the Danny Trejo.
oh,
Machete.
machete that ended up turning into something.
Yeah, it turned
Right.
into a movie,
That was
and
good.
it was great. And then I watched a lot of videos, and there wasn't YouTube at that time, but Entertainment specials about it,
Yeah.
and they would. Tarantino and Rodriguez would tell all the other filmmakers, "Hey, we got an idea for like a schlock." Rob Zombie said, "Okay, here it is. It's called Nazi Werewolves of
I want to see that movie actually.
Too. I actually,
and he started
there
to
were
say,
so many similar movies to that back then too.
and he started to tell like the basic plot of it. They go, shut up. Here's some money. Go make it. Just based on the title itself. And Machete and everything, you just fucked with the wrong Mexican. I remember thinking, that's cool, but Death Proof started, and as a typical Tarantino movie starts slow
Yep.
and
Right.
builds to a crescendo.
Oh, the extended version of that, because both of those movies in that were actually separated into extended versions of themselves.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit longer, but it was the same thing. It was just that
Yes.
slow build up to the crescendo that you're talking about.
Yep.
And I understand Robert Rodriguez is the opening act. That movie
Yes.
was just a zombie movie.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I mean, it was better than people give it credit for, but it was it was what it was
I
supposed to
enjoyed
be.
the hell
People see Death Proof and they're like, that's actually kind of a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
It started too slow, and I was just done being in that scene. Kill Bill 2, number 7 here. Again, that's just a totally different movie. Fred and I were talking about this the other day.
It is.
You've got all style, and now you've got all the substance.
Yep.
Yep.
And she kills exactly one person in that movie.
Yeah.
And I think it's clearly the superior of the two. Do you have them in that order too on your list? Kill Bill 1 and then Kill Bill 2?
No, I have 1 first and then 2 after that.
But going in reverse order, though. You
No.
think Kill Bill 2 is... You thought Kill Bill 2...
I like the beginning of Kill Bill 1. Or Kill Bill 1. I like the premise of Kill Bill, the volume 1. I like the way that she goes to visit the different people more than when she does all the training and stuff.
So
and
you like Kill Bill 1 more than you like Kill
Yes,
And
yes.
I realized that I understood that because I have a note here that says you are dumb
fuck off.
with 3 exclamation points.
All right. So what's your next one?
Number 6 one is Django.
Okay.
And again, we're getting into it's probably a 6-way tie
Yeah.
for first place, but you said do them in a certain order.
Yeah.
And if I had these 5 movies, I would probably watch Django Fett last. So,
Django Fett.
Django Fett. Yes, that's what I wrote down here is Django Fett.
Last out of all the. Okay, I see what you're saying.
It
Okay.
was a great movie. I mean, I would have rather have seen Will Smith in that role. That's who he offered it
Yeah.
to first.
He's too clean.
I do remember him
But
offering.
that's-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's what would have been good about
get
it.
him and you dirty
Yeah.
him up a little bit, you know?
Why didn't he do it? Was that why? Because it was a Tarantino
yeah,
movie?
it was
or-
a Tarantino movie, and he just didn't want his image tarnished. And I'm like, well, that's why you do a Tarantino movie,
Yeah,
either to
exactly.
resurrect your career or make a left turn.
And that's kind of what I meant when I said he's too clean. He's
And
not
I
going to do
think,
that.
yeah, I think we needed a left turn out of Will Smith because what we got was Men in Black 3. I rest my case.
Yes, exactly.
If all you're getting is right turns, he's just spinning in circles with his career.
Reservoir
He doesn't
Dogs.
seem to be complaining about it, though.
Well, when you're making $20 million a movie, you don't really complain much, I suppose.
Right?
Reservoir Dogs. Do we get into the movies during these lists? Or we just,
I mean, we can either get into them now, or we can. I mean, we're going to get into them at a certain point. So
Reservoir Dogs is a movie called City of Fire. No, it is. It's a City of Fire. It's a Hong Kong movie. I don't know if it's John Woo, but it's definitely not Chan Yun.
Oh,
Fat.
so you're saying it's like an.
It is that movie.
It is that movie. Okay.
When you watch City of Fire,
So you're not saying it's like a ripoff. It's like a.
no, it's
an homage, maybe?
No, it's a reboot of that movie.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
he's been asked that in interviews. It's just too obvious. There's an undercover cop that
I've heard of who was in it.
It's not.
It's not Chow Yun Fat or
what's the other
anything.
guy? Danny, whatever the Hong Kong.
Okay, I think I know who you're talking about, but I'm gonna have to check that out. I think the title's right. I recognize
City of
it.
Fire. City of Fire. Great movie. This Reservoir Dogs, and giving Tarantino due credit for being a creative genius that he is.
Yeah.
I think we can establish over 10 films that he is, a genius.
Yeah.
In doing this, he tells you the story. He didn't have $1 million to spend on this movie. He couldn't make City of Fire. He liked the concept, but he's like, okay, let's talk about what happens behind the action sequences. And Reservoir Dogs is a companion movie to City of Fire.
Oh wow!
It's the same movie, and he could have
It's just told from a different aspect or a different angle.
yeah, just from a different point of view. Just
Okay.
from
That's fascinating.
you should watch these two movies back to back, and you'll be like, somebody gonna sue somebody.
City of Fire and Reservoir Dogs.
City of Fire and Reservoir
Okay.
Dogs, yes. And I've seen City of Fire once, and I was like, man, George Lucas gonna sue somebody. That's what I was thinking. When the Guy Pearce movie where he goes up to the space station to rescue the president's daughter.
Oh,
It's-
that's
you
the
know,
movie I was telling you about that one day.
Escape from L.A. in space.
You were talking about
Luke
that.
Besson made
Yep.
this movie, and John Carpenter said, "Dude, I'm suing you."
Yeah.
Because not only did he have that in his mind he was going to make escape
crazy.
from
Mm-hmm.
the moon or whatever the penal colony was going to be.
Wherever he was at.
But he won. I mean, that movie was
Wow.
Tarantino. I don't know. There must be some sort of
There has to be an agreement.
thing
of some
from
kind.
barring.
I'm sure there's some sort of
Maybe it's not an international copyright agreement with Hong Kong or something.
who directed it. I wonder.
Yeah, it might be John Woo.
Really?
It might be. I don't know. All I know is those movies are companions, and Tarantino will, for some reason, just won't admit that that's the case.
I don't know why he
That is
wouldn't admit that. That's
fascinating.
kind of dumb because he knows that he cops and from so many different movies from his time. I mean, I'm sure if we were making movies, I mean, we've been in movies so long that we would do the same thing. I mean, we're going to cop from different things. I mean,
That's all anybody
who's
ever
not going to
does.
put a fucking big old Fletch reference in the background somewhere over something? I mean,
Watching Cop Out, it's almost sad how much Kevin Smith wanted that to be Fletch that he hired.
Yeah.
He got Harold Faltermeyer
to do the music,
out of whatever rock he was hiding under to
right?
do the music. It was actually sad how much he wanted it to be Fletch. Number 4, Inglourious Bastards. Again, I had
gotta
to
put it
I got
somewhere.
to put it somewhere. You've never seen
Which
it.
I'm so
I've never seen
disappointed
it.
Fred hasn't seen. I know, right?
And the again, the plot points that seem to be scatterbrained, that
Yep.
all of a sudden just rush together at the end, and you're like, that's why he did that. That's why that scene's there. Brilliantly made movie, and the first time he ever did the alternate history.
Yep.
It exists in its own universe where Hitler gets his face blown off
Yep.
by two angry Jews
Yes.
in a movie theater.
Which is what he does in the next one, or not the next one, but the new one.
Yeah.
And I got to
Yeah.
give my wife some credit here because even more embarrassing for me, on the way here, I was asking her what order she would put those in, the Tarantino movies, and she said, "What about Inglourious Bastards?" And I said, "I don't think that's a Tarantino movie, is it?" So we just took that off the list.
That's probably the main reason
She's-
that Christoph Waltz was in Django.
I'm gonna get
was because he did
looks.
so well for him in Inglorious.
Well,
I'm
he's
sure.
won 2 Oscars,
Yeah.
one for each of those movies.
Yeah.
She's going to listen to this, and she's going to be staring at me with a mean look the entire time.
You know, dude, Spider-Man outfits and Dungeons and Dragons castles, and I can't forgive this. This is unforgivable.
It is.
Number 3, Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
I've watched that movie so many times.
I have too.
I even watched the extended cut, which is like, ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do want to watch that though. I do. I'll give it some time. I like the there's different kinds of action, I guess you could say, and like there's action in Tarantino movies, and then there's dialogue action. And Hateful Eight has some amazing dialogue action.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yep.
And you can just sit there and watch it forever.
Walton Goggins, brilliant
oh God,
in
love
that
him.
role.
Yeah.
He's brilliant in Django Fett too, and but still, it's the Thing. It's a paranoid. Who is it? Who's the one? Who's the thing? Who's the monster? You know, and it turns out everybody is.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody in the fucking room is. And and you got Kurt Russell in it, who was in The Thing. I mean, it's almost like you if it were anybody else, you'd be like, really, dude? You're
Yeah, I
going to rip
know.
off The Thing and you're going to put Kurt Russell in it? Well, Tarantino, you're like, oh, it's cool, man.
We'll do it that way.
Do it that way.
The man can do no wrong.
And you know about the guitar in it, the acoustic guitar that she plays.
Yes.
It was a ultra rare, priceless Martin guitar,
No, I didn't know.
and that's the one he actually grabs and smashes. And her reaction, what
Is
she goes,
real?
is she goes like this, like what? And she looks over at Tarantino like this, and they kept that reaction in the film.
Wow, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that now.
And I
had
call
heard
bullshit.
about that actually.
I call
Call
bullshit.
bullshit.
I call bullshit on that. If you've got a priceless Martin guitar on the set, you've got a Martin guitar wrangler whose job it is to throw himself on there like the fucking Secret Service. I call
Yes.
bullshit on that whole thing. But it made for a good story, and we're still talking about it
Yeah,
years
yeah.
later.
It filled airtime once again.
2, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Are we going
Again,
to talk about
unlike
this
any
right
Tarantino film.
Not. And plus, if you've seen, and everybody has, except for you, every
for me.
Tarantino movie, he fucks with you from that angle.
Yeah.
When
Yeah, I
What-
can see that.
you've got DiCaprio in a bathrobe and a blender full of margaritas looking out his window going, goddamn motherfucking hippies. And he goes out and he's screaming at the Manson family, get the fuck out of here, you fucking hippies. And he's drinking from these, get your fucking ass out of here, you're up here to get high, aren't you? And Tex Watson, the ringleader,
Yeah.
the merciless killer,
Yeah.
is like, I'm sorry, sir. You know, and they're like, that's the dude from that Western, isn't it? The guy from, what was it, Bounty Law?
Bounty Law.
The guy from Bounty Law's out here. Because they're on acid.
Yeah.
The guy from Bounty Law's yelling at us. They grab a gun, and you're like, oh shit, they're about to fuck him up. Before
Yeah.
They go up to, and then he doesn't. They go, oh, we're sorry, and they back up and leave. And because you're expecting
Exactly.
Needs
It
something
takes
to happen,
all
yeah.
your
Tarantino
expectations.
of any of his last
You're
9
sitting there
movies.
saying, "Okay, I see where this is going," and
Yeah.
then it doesn't every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
what I love.
That's
about
cool.
It.
That's
And
cool.
He took a total right turn, and There's a couple of Brad Pitt moments in there at the final confrontation because and he frames it to where it's like the end of Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
Where it looks like the FBI is going up to Buffalo Bill's house.
Yep.
And they end up going to the empty house, and it's Starling who knocks on the door.
Yeah.
Same thing. He makes it look like they're going up
Yeah.
to kill Sharon Tate and the coffee chick, but they break into Brad Pitt's house, or it's actually
And there's a lot of moments
DiCaprio's
too.
house.
where
DiCaprio's house, yeah.
There's a lot of moments
That's
where
right,
you
I
say,
did hear
okay,
that.
that's why that scene happened earlier. That's why they set this up. That's why. He's
Yeah.
Again, it's a very, very simple movie.
It is,
And
it doesn't jump around in linear fashion either, like most of his movies do.
Bounty Law isn't a real show,
No.
but Lancer is. And
Yeah.
he's-
I've heard of that. Yeah.
And he actually, they put him into the role that was actually, he wrote his character into that. The FBI show that he was in is actually an FBI show. They just put DiCaprio into it. And it's like an alternate universe. So there's a lot of clues through this movie where they're in an alternate universe. Where he actually almost
see that.
got the Great Escape role, the McQueen role.
Yeah.
Right.
And they've actually got him in there in that movie because he's recalling that he almost got that. He goes,
Yeah.
well, how would I have played that? And you get to see that. So there's a lot of little. This is an alternate history movie.
Yeah.
It was
Just like
a bit of a showcase
just like
in that
Inglourious, yeah.
technology for a minute there too, because that sequence wasn't short.
Yeah.
That sequence lasted for a little bit, showing that scene from The Great Escape.
Now, and I think that there's a lot of clues in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that lead you to that end, but you do not expect it. And when they bust into the house and it's Brad Pitt tripping on acid, and they got a gun, and Brad Pitt goes, puts his finger out. Are you guys real?
I gotta see that.
Then it becomes a comedy at
Yeah.
that moment.
Okay.
I laughed my ass off for the last half hour of that movie.
And
People were looking at me in the theater.
he goes to Spawn Ranch because there was a stuntman who went to go check
Yeah.
in on the
Oh, I
owner,
remember, yeah.
at the owner, and he got killed.
Yeah.
His family killed.
Yep.
him. And so I knew that story. So the whole time he's at the Spawn Ranch, I'm thinking, this is where Brad Pitt
Yeah.
gets it, because I hadn't seen anything in the trailers that I hadn't already seen.
Yeah.
There was no Brad Pitt moment from the trailers where I'm going, well, he's getting out of this because,
Yeah.
and I think that was intentional too. And he goes and he meets Tex Watson, and he gets out of there in the nick of time. And he's got the showdown, and he goes, I know you. Your name is, and he goes, I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's business. And Brad Pitt goes, nah, it's dumber than that. I laughed so hard, I had to see the movie again to find out what happened after that. I think Fred said he laughed.
They're saying now that
yeah.
Brad Pitt, like, this is one of his most not best roles, best roles, but it's also one of his most creative, and that he's really
Absolutely.
yeah,
I'll agree with that.
He's playing a
actually,
cartoon character in Inglorious Bastards, and he plays
yeah, he is.
maybe maybe his role in 12 Monkeys is on par with this, but he is just cool as the other side of the pillow in this movie.
Yep. And he makes you believe it.
Yeah, and he makes you believe that he's this, kicking the shit out of Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And I don't know what everybody's so upset about.
They're
Bruce
all
Lee's
pissed
family.
off about that. Yeah.
He's on record saying he could have kicked Muhammad Ali's ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he said it. It's true. Who's saying he didn't say it on the set of the Green Hornet?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's just people that want to get
Just start some
Up the
shit up.
vibes.
That's all it is.
Sharon Tate's sister gave him Sharon Tate's clothes to wear in the movie, so I had the blessing of the Tate family. He reached out to the director, Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, Polanski.
He
Yes.
reached out to Polanski and said, "Look, I'm
Sorry.
doing this.
zone for a second.
I was looking for you to
I'm
help me.
thinking of the
and-
movie. I'm
and I had
picturing this movie in my head right
Antenna
now.
coming out of my head, didn't I?
Yes.
You guys are both.
I'm just reliving the movie. I'm just
I'm listening.
because it was a good
Not
goddamn
one
movie.
fucking word are you guys paying attention to over here.
I'm fine.
So he called Polanski, and he said, I don't think he,
He said,
called
"Did
him.
you rape somebody?"
Jesus. I'm going to keep this episode grounded here.
All right, go ahead.
He reached
no,
out
I
to
am.
Polanski and said, "Look, I'm not asking your permission. I believe that this story has crossed over from wherever it was into history. It's now history.
Yeah.
And we can look back on it from a historical perspective, and we can create art about it now."
I don't know where it's coming from this time.
I don't either. I must have an antenna growing out of my head.
Jesus Christ! I swear to God, I'm not laughing at you.
That's cool.
No, because I was actually thinking when you said that it was amazing. Sorry, not to get off your story, but it's got something to do with it. That Sharon Tate, or
Taint?
Sharon Tate.
Here we go. Here we go. Sharon Tate, go ahead.
Oh God! Why didn't anybody make a Manson porno parody?
I'm sure if you look hard enough.
Oh my God.
Jesus! Oh God!
This is the 10-minute laugh break.
Go on, go on.
Talk amongst yourselves. Okay.
Go on.
Yes.
Anyway,
Oh shit!
it's one of Tarantino's just. It's a master stroke. I don't know how he's going to top this. I hope the Star Trek movie is his 10th one because
I heard that he wasn't going to do it now or
Really?
something. I mean, that's what I heard.
He's
But
not
I
going
don't.
to direct it.
It's
He's
been
going to.
so long ago that I heard about that in the first place. I forgot that it was even a thing
Yeah, he's
until just now.
he's got
Is he going to produce it or something? Or
the old episode of Piece of the Action where it's the Chicago gangsters from the 50s and 60s, the 40s and the 50s. Piece of the Action, Star Trek.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know that one.
That's what the movie is going to be based on. It's
Okay.
going to be like gangsters, Planet of
oh, okay, okay.
Gangsters. I
Will
think
it
it's
be like a
fascinating.
direct sequel? Or
I don't know. I think it's going to be a reimagining.
That's always good when they do that. So, what's his next film supposed to be?
It just blew Fred's mind. And then Once Upon a Time
Oh,
in
yeah,
Hollywood
yeah.
*2, and then of course Pulp Fiction. You have to. I mean, that's the seminal. That's the one.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the one where everybody decided they needed. Jade was a Pulp Fiction ripoff, and
Yeah.
everybody decided they needed a non-linear storytelling way of doing things.
Right. I mean, I was going to put that at the top of my list too. And I was going to say that it was the nonlinear storytelling that was part of why that's at the top of the list. That kind of worked with Reservoir Dogs too, but I think Pulp Fiction is where he perfected that way of telling a story. And that's why, in my mind anyways, it takes place. It takes the #1 spot out of Reservoir Dogs' hands.
And it's not that. And it's not that the movie was perfect by any means. It has its flaws. It's got its flaws.
No more for you.
Even in the. Would you get your fucking Metallica skull bong out of here? He's had enough. It's not a perfect movie, but it was the impact that it had.
Right.
Oh, son of a bitch!
Dude, how can Sharon Tate still be this funny? My stepson laughed at the concept of Diet Coke for 40 minutes. And that stretched into 3 days. Sharon Tate ain't this funny.
It's not. It's not the Sharon Tate even. It's
Yeah.
just. It's just shit's funny. I don't know.
I bet it is. Bet it is. I didn't. I got some gummies I could have eaten.
No, what I was going to say
Actually, I'm
about
out. Why? Hit me up.
what I was going to say about Sharon Tate. No, Sharon Tate was the fact that her relatives, like you said, agreed to this, or were cool about it. But then there's like people bitching now, that came up when he was being interviewed, saying, well, she didn't have a big part, blah blah blah. And I was just like, this just kind of sounds like just a people bitching for no reason, because
It's
her
just for
family's
attention.
already approved it. And
It's just
I
for
wonder
attention.
if they approved the Hillary Duff movie.
The Hillary Duff movie.
Yeah,
Oh
there's-
yeah, there is some kind of Sharon Tate movie or
It's
something. Yeah.
The Haunting of Sharon Tate.
Yeah. But does it actually portray her, or is it just somebody being haunted by her?
No, Hillary Duff is portraying her.
Really?
Yes, and it's the events surrounding her murder.
Oh, really?
It's actually being looked at as a kind of in poor taste because of how horrific that murder was and
Yeah.
how the movie just glosses over everything for the sake of entertainment.
Wow.
I'm
yeah,
gonna pitch
I
a
saw
movie.
that. Yeah. Okay.
I don't
I'm going
have
to pitch a movie here to you guys.
For Tarantino.
No, this
okay.
is just The Haunting of Sharon's Taint.
James Gunn.
And
Riley
here's
Lee.
another 10-minute laugh break.
Oh God.
You
Yes.
know what? If we're not enjoying ourselves,
All
then
right.
it's
So
not worth it.
Tarantino. What else do we have on Tarantino?
Well, I think that we didn't touch on this. You were laughing too hard. The Pulp Fiction is not a perfect movie. It's
No.
probably not even his best movie, but it's
No,
at the
it's just-
top because of the way that it just influenced so many other
Mm-hmm.
films. Even movies that I don't know the name of it, but it was some Lou Diamond Phillips Marky Mark abortion that had Captain Cisco in it. For
I'm trying
some
to
reason.
think.
Jeez.
And they were assassins, but they had these
course
little.
they were.
They had, yeah.
Okay.
They had these little real world moments where
I need
there's
to
a
look for
there's
this
a
now.
there's a runner through the movie where Wahlberg's trying to trying to return this film to the video store.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with anything? Nothing. It shows he's a real person, and
Yeah.
those are the kind of things that Tarantino did in Pulp Fiction, where we
Yes.
show the real world. We show that these
Yep.
hitmen didn't just come over and blow away the guy from Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah.
And the two rapists are busy running a pawn shop.
Yeah.
They have their
Yeah.
own lives. You know.
They have their own lives.
Everybody has their backstory, and we
Yes.
see a little bit of it, and we see these moments that make them real. But we also see the ultra violent gangster side of them too, and so we're a little bit conflicted on whether they're heroes or not. I mean, in any other movie, they would clearly be bad guys.
Yeah.
Jules
Yes.
Winfield is a bad guy in any other movie. In Pulp
It's-
Fiction, you're like,
It's
Yeah,
how
he's-
the
You
narrative.
like them, you dig them,
it's-
yeah.
It's how the narrative presents the character to you that determines whether they're the protagonist or the antagonist. Though.
And I think he was one of the few that really was able to go back and do the Hitchcock stunt. That nobody did, because even when I was watching it with my daughter, when John Travolta gets shot, she was like, "What? I liked him. I thought he was cool, you know." And I mean, that was something that hadn't been done. I mean, it might have been done, but not as good as Hitchcock did it, and Tarantino was close
and
at
it
it.
probably has the most famous MacGuffin in cinematic
Yes,
history.
yes.
Yeah, you
the
never see
briefcase.
what's in there.
Yeah, we talk about
Never see
theories and
what's
all
in
that
it.
stuff. There's plenty of theories on that. You know, just thousands of them.
I've heard bricks of gold. I've heard the holy fucking grail.
I still believe the soul
The
thing.
soul of Marcellus.
The soul of
Wallace.
Marcellus Wallace.
That's why there's a band-aid on his neck.
Hadn't heard that.
That's
but
why his
that makes
band-aid on his
sense.
neck. That's why the combination is 666 when you see Travolta do it.
The
Supposedly they were getting it back from the devil or something to give to Marcellus. Is that what I heard?
I don't know. I didn't click on the link. I wasn't that fucking interested in it, Brett.
But
heard
there
this
is a lot of
theory, yeah.
logical things that point to it could be a
Some
soul.
clickbait that's just not worth it, man. Just
And no, the
move
soul
on.
thing I believe, and I like it. I like the theory.
There's endless postulating and
Hell,
you
Yes.
put
it
it
could be
into my
his aunt's lamp that he's just taking back.
Yeah,
to
It could be Aladdin's lamp.
That's why it's a MacGuffin.
Yes,
It doesn't
exactly.
matter what it is. They want
Yes.
it.
Yes.
They want it.
Yep.
Which, by the way, I got to speak up real quick. I saw Aladdin. I
Yes.
watched Aladdin,
Finally,
and I actually thought it was decent.
see,
I did like it.
Was it charming and delightful?
It was charming. It was very charming.
But
You see
was
what I
it
mean?
delightful?
But just to break that in, it was good. I don't think I'll watch many of the other remakes, but that one
I'm
was
pretty
good.
critical about this sort of thing myself, and I wouldn't have recommended it if I didn't see it that way.
Yeah,
They
it was-
actually
it was-
took the
it was
story
pretty
that
good.
Was and added something to it.
I was really impressed with the guy who played Aladdin. I thought he did a really
Right.
good job, and I thought he was
I
really
did
down to
too.
earth. Yeah.
Had good chemistry with Naomi Scott.
And I just got my period listening to this. Jesus, we're over here talking about Tarantino gangster film, and you want to go Disney on me. I mean, I can't keep up with you two
Sorry,
right now.
we just went off on a tangent
can't-
there
I
for a
I
minute.
didn't change the subject. I just agreed.
I had a Facebook group, and you and Brett's in it, but you and I hadn't reconnected yet. But the rules of the group were, be respectful. Two is do this. Number 5 was nobody gives a shit what you think was in Marcellus Wallace's briefcase.
Nice.
I still like to throw the theories around, but yeah. So what is what like what? Okay, where do we? Did you put yours in any kind of order? Do you have an
No,
order?
Like I said, I have my least and my most.
What's your
The
least?
rest of them kind of
I want to know
float
your
back and
least.
forth.
That's
The least-
with me. Yeah.
I got to put it at Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
I didn't have the
A
same
lot of people
connection.
do. I mean, it's.
Well, it
I just
wasn't-
liked it because it was Pam Grier. I think.
It had a lot more, I'd say, action in it than his latest film, than Once Upon a Time in
Yeah.
Hollywood, because that was very much a drama, whereas most of his movies are crime dramas,
Yeah.
and there's a big distinction between the two.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't have the same connection to those movies that it was paying homage to.
Yeah.
Those old exploitation films, and that's exactly what that was supposed to be. I didn't have an appreciation for those types of films until years later when I discovered a thing on Roku that's no longer functioning right now. A channel called Bizarre TV.
I remember that.
Yeah, the woman that ran that channel, I think she got cancer, and I don't think she's with us anymore because nothing's been done with that channel in a long time.
So yeah.
That's where I got my first taste of some of these exploitation films. That's where I saw Sleepaway Camp for the first time.
I still haven't seen that one. I still
Really?
haven't seen Sleepaway Camp. It's one I need to see.
You
I
can
saw
see,
that in the 80s.
Really? You can
Freaked
see
the
where it
fuck
gained
outta
its cult status when you watch it.
And she's got a
But-
wiener.
You weren't supposed to give that away.
It's the ending, man. You're supposed to say spoilers.
I was looking something up because I wanted to. Oh, here it is. Hold
Dude, am I really this fat?
on.
Keto.
Can we? Can we?
Very
Say
least get
keto
rid
one
of
more
sugar.
time. Say it.
Oh, I know. Okay, yeah. We can talk about that at the end, but anyway. I wanted to. Never mind.
That's it. I'm drinking.
You keep saying that and you
There
don't
it
do
is.
it. Okay, so anyway,
I have to drive, so.
so back to back. So what's your first?
Oh no, I broke the
I
seal.
already said I agree with his. Pulp Fiction is my first.
Is your first?
I thought that Reservoir Dogs was more fun, honestly.
Yeah, it is. It's
But-
it's like a 2-year scenery acting tour
It
de
is.
force. Yeah.
But like I said, I think with the non-linear storytelling, I think that he hit his stride. I think he perfected that with Pulp Fiction. He did it later, and he did it better later. But
Yeah.
Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction is
Was
where
the
it just-
precursor? Yeah,
it
the
was-
original.
It was like the textbook being written. you
But
know?
it starts at the beginning.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
starts at the beginning of the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it ends with sort of like maybe a third into the first act. Because when what's her name gets on the back of the motorcycle and they ride away, that's the end of the narrative.
Yeah.
Chopper.
But then it's a chopper, baby. Zed's dead.
That's dead.
And that's the end of the movie. But then they circle back to showing, the whole thing at Jimmy's house and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I just remember being blown away, and that's when I told you. I said this movie is nothing like I've ever
Yeah.
anything I've ever seen. It's all over the place,
Like I
but
said,
you
it-
can
it-
follow it.
Perfected that way
Yeah.
of storytelling. It changed the way movies could be made. It proved that people had larger brains than filmmakers were giving them credit for all those decades, and that you can make something experimental and cerebral, and people will pick up on it.
Well, that was the era when they were doing a lot of those different movies. I mean, Clerks, Slacker. I mean,
Fair
a lot of
enough,
those
and it was all
independent
around the
things were
same time,
becoming.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, if he would have directed Star Wars, it would have begun with the blowing up of the Death Star.
I want to see this edit of the movie now.
Yeah.
You'd have to get all
That's
the
not gonna
John Williams
happen.
still and rewrite all that music. So
Well,
Yeah.
you don't get that good without taking a movie apart and doing
true.
something to it. He's probably got some bastard versions.
I'm
of
sure.
Really great movies, and they're cool. And I
which
hope
goes
some
back
days.
to what was said earlier. It all comes together in editing.
Yep.
And the other thing that he's really good at is his music choices. His music choices have always been pretty point on and fit the movie and give the meaning. I mean, who can hear Steelers Wheel now without thinking about an ear being cut off?
And he wanted Ballroom Blitz for that,
I know. Yep.
and
I
he
had no
couldn't.
idea.
And he couldn't get. Sweet was like, "What? You're gonna cut him off?" No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
thank you. And now you couldn't listen to Ballroom Blitz without seeing that scene.
Yeah,
It
It's
would
funny
be
yeah.
because
just
I
as,
heard that song when I was at Dungeons and Dragons. When I heard that song came on the channel that he plays all the classic rock on,
Okay.
and I got up to go to the bathroom during this, and it didn't occur to me until afterwards that it mirrored that scene. Because I got up and I walked to the bathroom, and as I walked to the bathroom, the song fades away.
Yeah.
Until I shut the bathroom door, and there's nothing.
Yeah.
And then I open the door to go back out to the table, and it's still far away. And
Yeah.
it grows
yeah.
in volume.
And it comes back in. Yeah.
It was the scene as
Yeah.
it played out, and I
Yeah.
didn't realize it until hours later. I was like,
Yeah.
wait a second, that fucking happened. That actually happened. and it was to that
It
song.
just occurred to me how high you motherfuckers are right now.
What? That's not even happening. Anyway,
High on life. I mean, you're high on life.
Fred is
Wise, I'm going to kill you.
Fred brings up an interesting point though. With
did he?
Yeah, he did.
That
with,
when he was taking a leak, it
with the
reminded him of
music,
Reservoir Dogs.
with the music,
Oh, okay.
I mean, you know, it is integral to. You take half of that stuff out of there, and it's not even gonna. The scenes don't have the same.
I mean,
And
it
I think that's
obviously
why he did
resonated if that occurred to me, though. You know?
Chutzpah. That's it.
I
I
think that's
walked
why
out
he
of the
did.
room during many songs, but that was the one that resonated because of that scene. You know.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, for years after that came out, that was all we thought about was when
I
we heard
can't
that.
believe I didn't tune out at. I was taking a leak at Dungeons and Dragons. I can't believe I followed that story after he said that. And when you do
It went
period
somewhere.
pieces like Bastards and Django Fett,
Yeah.
Which I will watch.
you
I promise.
you don't have that kind. You can't have music
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So I think, and maybe this is not the reason that he did those movies, but he's showing that he can have epic and classic scenes and moments without having music tied to them.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I think
And
a lot of
He's doing
things.
it well too.
The girl, you're a woman now. Every time you hear that, you got to picture what's her name strumming an air guitar.
Neil Diamond.
What?
Neil Diamond. Go ahead. That's a Neil Diamond song.
Yeah, but it wasn't. That wasn't.
No,
Neil
I know,
Diamond.
but
That-
I
wasn't
still-
it like the Verve or something.
I know, but still Neil Diamond wrote it. Gotta bring that up every time.
Or
Go ahead.
that.
Yeah,
I
but he
forget
also
the-
wrote one of the Monkees songs. So let's keep everything.
I forget the name of the song, but the name of the song, I forget what it was. It was the Spanish guitar song from the very beginning of the movie.
I can remember I had a
When
double.
the radio station switches.
Yeah.
And it starts playing that.
I had a double soundtrack of Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs, and I remember I liked the Reservoir Dogs soundtrack a lot because it also had Stephen Wright stuff in there,
Yes.
where he's the DJ.
DJ,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it was, and when you listen to those albums, they're like they're albums that are listenable alone. I think to without the aspect of even the film. So it turned me on to some different types of music that he did that I didn't probably either like or venture into, just because of different scenes and stuff.
And it's awesome that it could do that too. And it's just it says a lot about the storytelling. The music that he chooses resonates like it does.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think there is any other song you could pick for this.
Yeah.
For any of this. He's
No.
a genius. He
Yeah,
puts
he
what
is.
goes where it's. I mean, he may have had intentions for other songs, but that's just the universe saying, no, fuck you, it has to be this way.
Yeah. I can remember reading a book about him, but it was a few years ago. I don't know if he still does this, where he had talked about that he picks the songs first, and then he kind of works the script around
That
what
makes
they're
sense.
putting.
It's like-
I don't know if that's
That's
still
the same
true,
with a
but
lot of writing. Actually, just you have a scene in your mind. You're like, okay, how do I craft a story around this one scene?
yeah.
Like the episode of South Park. I always think of this when I think of this concept. The episode of South Park where Martha Stewart shoves the turkey up her ass. That was the moment. They wrote an entire episode just to see Martha Stewart do that. They had that idea in their mind. I really want to see Martha Stewart shove a turkey up her ass. So they wrote an entire 25-minute episode of South Park just to accommodate that scene.
I spent 20 seconds looking for my phone. I come back to the conversation, and you're talking about South Park shoving a turkey up the ass. I can't leave you guys alone for
a
one
minute.
fucking minute. This is.
Okay. Hey, I want to bring something up here real quick because we're about done. Did anybody know? For some reason, I got involved in a James Gunn movie that I've never seen. It's with Jenna Fisher from The Office, and it's a mockumentary about them starting a lollipop, like selling lollipops or whatever. But it's really funny. But then anyway,
As themselves?
no, I don't know. Yeah, they call themselves. I think no, I don't know. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, it's I'm right.
He ran for it. He just
I know. He's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I don't know what they're talking about. No, James Gunn. And then I went and looked at his IMDb, and he did. Jim lost his phone.
Yeah, I lost my phone, dude.
You had it.
Mine's dead, or I'd call it.
I just found it.
Oh my god.
I was
So
gonna
anyway,
say, you haven't gotten up for like
Behind here.
so James
2 hours
Gunn
now.
has a show, or had a show, a web series called PG Porn, and it's for people who like porn but don't like the sex. and it's got like different celebrities in it. No, I'm
Is
serious.
Sharon Tate in it?
No, but I am dying to find out
If Sharon Tate
where
is in
this is at. No, where it's at, like where I can find it. So if anybody knows where I can find, it's called PG Porn, and James Gunn directed it and wrote it. And because I went down a big James Gunn hole last night because I watched Brightburn.
Frozen.
And
which was decent.
yeah, it was. Yeah,
Like I was saying earlier, DC Comics themselves have done the Superman as a dick story better and a lot over the years.
yeah.
But it was entertaining to see. I only have a few questions about that movie. And we were talking about it earlier, like for instance, what's his fucking motivation?
Yeah, how do you become that way? Why is his?
Just he has powers now. He
Yeah.
realizes that. So better be fucking evil.
Yeah, but I mean, like the
That's
one
what
guy
I would
said, it
do.
was good. I
I'm
mean,
not
for
gonna
what it was.
Save bitches from the Statue of Liberty.
The other thing that I wanted to mention is if you haven't seen it yet, ICP, huge fan of ICP. Just kidding. They do an acoustic set called Strums and Drums if you want to check that out on YouTube.
I can't believe I'm this fat.
Sorry, I just thought that was funny.
We'll get another warning from YouTube if I bring that up right now.
All right, yeah, no. So what do we think about the new Joker trail? Does anybody have any thoughts?
And that we can play.
Yes, we can play it. Do you want to play it? Let's go ahead and play it. Put it on there, and then we'll end the day.
All right.
All right.
Play her on there, and you've seen her already, right?
The latest one?
Yeah.
The final one?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I
see if I remember how to do
didn't really go
this.
for the whole.
We'll have Fred look it up here, and then we'll see what happens. But I don't know.
It's like we
it's-
got the Joker now, and we got so many versions of the Joker.
It's-
Now we got a hair lip version of what could have been. You know,
I'm not.
Are you
That's
okay, man?
That's how big it's trending right now.
I'm not as up on it as I thought I was now after seeing this trailer.
Final trailer.
I don't know why, but I'm just not.
Like I said,
Oh, we're gonna have to turn up the sound
I'm
here.
gonna pause it real quick, take it back to the beginning, and then.
But,
enlarge the
yeah.
screen.
Now everybody can see this time.
Yeah,
Yep.
this is playing in the middle of the.
I won't be able to see it right yet because we're lagging. But go ahead.
Right, it'll pop up eventually.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're surrounding this on the screen right now, and this is like a center video. We got volume.
It's neato.
I got it, Cheech. Just
We got volume. Yeah, we're good. I love the laugh at the beginning, though.
we're framing the whole thing right now.
Can you please stop bothering my kid?
Sorry.
Arthur, I have some bad news for you.
That right there. That's creepy as fuck.
This is the last time.
There's a
we'll
reason
meet.
for that in the story too.
You don't listen to
I already looked at a lot of people that have that, like,
You just ask the
laughing
same
thing.
questions every week.
where they uncontrollably laugh.
How's your job?
There's an actual
Are you
disorder
having
that
any
they're
negative
discussing
thoughts?
in this, where you uncontrollably
Oh, I
laugh
Yeah.
at
A
inappropriate
negative
things.
And finally, in a world where everyone thinks they can do my job, check out this guy.
When I was a little boy and told people I was going to be a comedian, everyone laughed at me. Well, no one's laughing now.
Notice the comedy club's called Pogos. That's a Wayne Gacy reference.
It's so awful, isn't it?
For my whole life, I didn't know if I even really existed,
Wow.
but I do. People are starting to notice.
I'm telling you, this is going to be amazing.
Is this a joke to you?
That's Thomas Wayne.
Yep.
Murray, one small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as
Hair
Joker?
lip. Did you see that at the end?
Yes.
The clown.
And
Did you see the Waynes coming out of the theater with a young Bruce Wayne?
yes,
Which means they're going to probably try and reinvent
You know,
who killed him again.
hope not.
Because you see Arthur going right towards them when he's coming out of the theater. When they're coming out of the theater.
You're gonna have to watch that part.
But...
You rewind it about 30 seconds. Oh my God, we're in some sort of tunnel.
We're in a.
There it goes.
But
that's how we.
No,
have
he
to do
wanted you to
video on
rewind it.
screen
I think, didn't he?
Rewind
Or
it?
didn't
No,
he?
okay. Not now.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, there. When you rewatch that,
cool.
the last 30 seconds, you'll see the Waynes are coming out of the theater and they're with Bruce, just like on that fateful night. What I'm not understanding. So this is obvious. That was
Fateful Night. Can we talk about the intro, the new intro to the show?
Yeah. What about it?
Nobody says Gab, dude.
Nobody says Gab.
Nobody says Gab.
Yeah, I do. I say Gab all the time.
Intro guy does.
Intro guy does. He says
Yeah.
Gab. We're a bunch of gabbers.
Oh my God.
We gab. I'm gabalicious.
I tried,
All
honey.
right.
I tried.
I like gabbing. I'm Gabby Hayes. All right. Anyway, so what do we think about the Joker? Are we excited for it?
The premise of the story actually draws from the comics from the
Killing Joke.
The Killing Joke, and it stems from one thing that the Joker said in that, and that was, I don't remember verbatim, but it was essentially that the only thing separating normal people from somebody like me is one bad day.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah, I
that's
remember
what
that.
this
Yeah.
is about. It's one horrible life
Yeah.
that culminates in one
Yeah.
bad day
Yeah.
that pushes him over the edge, and it's going to be a character-driven piece, which is something we really have not seen in DC's
No, we
movies
haven't.
yet.
But I don't know, for some reason, I don't know why, but it just made me, that was me. It, the chair is squeaking.
Are you hungry?
And it was me, or it was me.
10-minute laugh break. Here we go.
Oh, shit. But yeah, when I saw the trailer, I was kind of like, oh, this looks different now. I don't know why, but it gave it a whole different aspect. I mean, I knew it was going to be
I was
serious.
Kind of seeing it that way. I was kind of seeing it that way from the teaser.
Well, I mean, I knew it was going to be different, but that it was different than the teaser, I think. I kind of like, when it delved more, it was like, man, this might be really, really, like,
it's gonna be
reality-based.
I think it's going to be pretty disturbing.
I think it was a good marketing move, not to say from the guy who brought you Wedding Crashers and Hangovers.
What didn't he do?
And Hangover 3.
Didn't he do Out of School, too? Or
Yeah.
Out of School? Or Old School, I'm sorry. Old
Yep.
School, yeah.
Old School.
And he made that
was
movie
real.
that I've always wanted to see that he was never able to release. One of his first short films was on fraternity hazing, and it was never able to be shown or seen because the stuff was too graphic in it, I guess, what he filmed. But Todd Phillips, yeah, that's what. But anyhow,
Gotcha.
well, that's our end. We did some Tarantino. We did some Brightburn we talked about for a whole second, and then we ended it with some
we gave
Sharon
it,
Tate.
We gave it recognition.
some Sharon Tate.
Dude.
We threw a nod.
I'm sorry, I
at
got to get some
Brightburn.
WD-40 for my Sharon Tate.
And like I said, shows
so-
like The Boys does the whole Superman is a dick thing way better than Brightburn.
Yeah, but I did appreciate Brightburn for what it was. It was
yeah,
it was a
fun.
good
It
movie.
was-
It was fun.
I
Yeah,
don't want to say it was fun because everybody fucking. Well,
it had some gore in it that I'd never seen before, which I thought was kind of cool. Like that guy's head, the
Right.
whole jaw like gone. That was
they
kind of
didn't,
creepy.
They didn't really hold back on some.
No,
things.
they didn't. They didn't.
No.
But anyway, we hope to see you guys next week. We are the Culture of Pop. Thank you for joining us again. Another week, another episode down. We hope you joined us on the live stream. We hope to get better at it, and we will see you next
We
week
hope to get better at it.
at the live stream.
I think
You're
we
gonna
got
hit
it.
your-
We hope to get better at podcasting too.
What
because
we're
this-
doing here is what you're gonna get.
We get better every time. We get better and better.
Yep.
Don't forget your little button there, Fred. See,
Natural
we have to
progression.
remind. But we're gonna play you out, and we will see you. Next time.
Have fun.
All those listening and watching, our families, and all those passionate about pop culture. Make sure you do what you gotta do to keep up with our latest episodes. See you next time. Sincerely yours, the Culture of Pop.